If you know your very being, then you know reality as it is. And what you know, you are. Sri Bhagavan has said, what is the use of knowing everything else without knowing oneself? This is because without knowledge of the self, what is the supposed knowledge of something else is but the faint reflections of whatever definition is inadvertently held as one's own. So, for example, if due to lack of inquiry to know one's true nature, one feels that he is a body, he will think that he knows a corresponding objective realm of experience or world. But all that is but the illusory play of his own consciousness. Sri Bhagavan further said that upon knowing the self, what else is there more to be known? Such a one sees nothing different than the self. How this could be so is enigmatic, only as long as misidentifications are assumed to be valid from the fundamental misidentification of existing as an individual, an I notion, as he calls it, to every other definition appended to that I. But seek deeply within yourself. Who am I? What does your real being consist of? It cannot be anything objective. So whatever is known, from subtle thought down to sensation, cannot possibly be a definition for yourself. By abandoning the tendency to misidentify with such limited definitions, your real nature, which is infinite and eternal, becomes self-evident. If only the objectifying outlook is abandoned, and one actually inquires into the meaning of I, your real being will be known in its own self-effulgence, and that blissfully so. Inwardly trace the nature of your own existence. If you want to know reality, if you want to know Brahman, if you want to know God, find out the nature of your own existence. Otherwise you will treat these, Brahman, God, even the Supreme Self, Paramatman, as if it were something else. But the Maharshi said, what else is there to be known? The very idea of otherness attributed to the Absolute is based on the false assumption of oneself being an individual to be a thinker, an experiencer, an embodied being, and so forth and so on. Trace your existence. It's not a body. It's not born when the body commences. It doesn't die when the body dies. It's not an object of sense perception. trace your existence. It's not a thought. It's not a collection of thought. It's not a current of thought. It is not any kind of mental mode or state whatsoever. It's not waking. It's not dreaming. It's not in deep sleep. But transcends all these. Unborn, imperishable, without condition, free of every state, unformed, undivided, without difference and with nothing other than it. Such is your real being. If you suppose yourself to be individualized, inquire into the very nature of that individualized existence. And no individuality will be found. Where the ego thus subsides, real being shines. Unobscured, it shines for itself. There is no other. There is no other existence. There is no other knower. Being. It is not an object. It is not an activity. It is not something done with body, speech, or mind. It is not to be acquired anew, but rather is ever existent. There is no one distinct from that being, Brahman, to be ignorant of it, or to say, I know it. For this self-knowledge, simply make your vision non-objective, and deeply inquiring, who am I? The reality comprehends itself. You are that. There is no other. Discern this for yourself, inquiring deeply, who am I?